Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to talk Bulldog Hockey with us, head coach Bob Daniels. Coach, welcome back to the show.
Always good to be here, Rob.
Big weekend for your team as you pulled off the sweep over Alaska this past weekend. Got some big points in the WCHA race.
Boy, what a difference 9 days make. You know, we were looking last Friday morning a week ago at 2-6-1. Now we're 3-6-1. So life's good. We're not where we want to be yet. You know, we're seeing improvement, and obviously the wins are great. But we also see a lot of areas we got continuous work to do, and hopefully we can continue to improve. And while we do it, hopefully we can continue to win games. Before
we get to some of the highlights, obviously you had a long stretch on the road, but nice to be back at home taking on Alaska this past weekend.
Well, what was nice is, even though I didn't really enjoy playing a week ago on a Thursday, Friday at Michigan, just coming off the road late on Sunday, what I really liked is that gave us Saturday, Sunday off, and then we had really, for the first time in 3 weeks, a full week of practice, and that helps dramatically. So the guys were able to get some rest. We got the practice time and we needed. I think it showed on the penalty kill. I thought our penalty kill was outstanding on the weekend. I think it showed on the power play, where that was very good. We won the specialty teams battles both nights, and that's obviously very important. So anyway, it wasn't like a break, but it felt like a break. And getting a full week of practice really helped.
As we go to some of the highlights of Friday's game, you mentioned the specialty teams and got off to an early start with a power play goal here in the first period from Cameron Clark.
Yeah, and it's good to see Cameron get on the board. It was just good all weekend long to see the power play. Even when we weren't scoring, we were creating momentum off of our power plays. We were getting scoring chances, and that's what you want. You're not, you know, a good power play would be clipping along at 20%, and right now, that means, you know, 4 out of 5 times you're not going to score. But if you can develop momentum or continue momentum with that power play, that's what you want to do.
Tied up at 1 going into the second period. Justin Kappelmaster in net for you. Had a great weekend for you.
He played really, really well. He had 1 goal on the whole weekend. He'd probably like to have back, but he had about 5 saves where he erased goals. So he was Johnny on the spot. Here we see Cole Norris scores 3rd goal of the year. You know, just the previous clip, and you know, that was a goal scorer's goal. He's got a great shot, great release.
That'll be the eventual game winner. You took a 2-1 lead into the third period, and a competitive third period as you were able to hold off Alaska.
Yeah, you know, 2-1 is very misleading. There was a lot of great scoring chances for both teams. You had already mentioned Justin Kappelmaster played well. Here, he stops a penalty shot in the third period. Great job by him. But their goaltender played equally as well, and so even though it was a 2-1 game, that game really should have been up right around 5-4.
We'll see Mitch Maloney get the eventual empty net goal here to kind of ice the win down the stretch as you get the opening game of the series, and always important to get that opening game.
It is important to get the opening game. You know, I think the hardest thing once you win is to try to sweep. It is so hard. The other team comes back the next night so determined, and it really becomes difficult. It's hard to win on Friday night, but to get the sweep, and that's why earlier in the year when we were swept, it was pretty, you know, you look and you say, okay, well, we got to have to sweep a weekend just to get to 500. And so this is a step in the right direction. Glad to get the win on Friday night.
3-1, the final score on Friday night as you take the opening game. Came back on Saturday night then, and obviously the second game important as you try to continue the momentum that you were able to establish.
Yeah, it is, and as we had alluded to on Friday, it's hockey's an interesting sport in that we play, you know, twice on the weekend, same opponent, and so after a victory on Friday night, no one's really all that excited. I mean, you're happy with the win, and that lasts about, you know, 5 minutes would be generous. It seems to go very quickly because your attention immediately has to turn to the next night's game.
As we go to the highlights of Saturday's game 2, Veterans Appreciation Night, a chance to honor some of the veterans before the contest.
Wow, what a great job I thought John Coles and our athletic department did this evening. I thought that it was well thought out, well scripted, and well deserved by the veterans. You know, we're very appreciative of their sacrifices. So it was a great night, and I'm glad we got the win on Veterans Night. But certainly I know we were all very appreciative of the sacrifices the men and women make.
Nate Callan got the initial goal in the first period, and always important to get that first goal of the game.
It was, you know, because now you're feeding off the momentum from the night before. Here we see Joe Rutkowski. That gets his first goal of the year, and he's a point getter. It's good to see him starting to show up. I believe he had 3 points on the weekend.
Alaska will come back here, cut it back to 1, but every time they were able to score, it seemed like you guys had an answer.
Well, we're seeing a little bit more mental toughness than we saw. Here, Cameron Clarkman's unbelievable feed backdoor to Craig Peffley. Good to see him show up on the scoreboard. So now we're seeing more guys show up. We're seeing scoring coming from different areas. Here's the goal that probably Cappy would like to have back. There was a little bit of a miscue behind the goal with the defenseman. Couldn't get back at his net quick enough. But there's one of the saves I'm talking about. Him, 30 seconds later, he makes a huge save for the team.
Nate Callan will come up here with a big goal for you as he gets his second goal of the night.
Yeah, and we got a lot of point production out of our defensemen, and we should. We've got some really good skill back there, some good, even though they're defensemen, some good offensive minds. But you can see this is a hard fought. I mean, you're fighting for every inch of ice. Fairbanks is obviously very determined and want to come away with something for their long travels.
They cut it back to 1, but again, Mitch Maloney, the senior, gets back on the score sheet for you to finish it.
Seems like Mitch Maloney enjoys the open net, so good for him. Hey, you can never look past those open net goals. So you can see it was a minute 34 to go in the game. That's a long minute 34 if we don't score there, so good on him.
5-3 the final, you get the sweep, and now you have a big series coming up this weekend as you go back to non-league action, taking on Michigan State in a home-and-home series.
It is big for us. It's a big, whenever you play the in-state schools, and in particular the two Big Ten schools. A week ago we played Michigan and split with them. This week we're Friday night at Michigan State, Saturday night back here. But we're representing at this point obviously our school, but also our conference. And right now we're 500. In non-conference games. We'd like to have that above 500. It'll be a challenge, though, because Michigan State is a much improved team.
Talk about what you know about the Spartans. Obviously going to Mount Ice Arena for the first game, a tough place to play before you come back at home on Saturday.
A very difficult place to play, and there's some momentum there. They had a coaching change, and with coaching changes, you get an uptick and not only enthusiasm of the team, but you get an uptick in enthusiasm of the fans. And they're riding that wave. They're playing really good hockey right now. Split last weekend against a very strong Wisconsin team. So we're going to have our hands full, which is great. We look for stiff competition in our non-conference games, and this is going to provide it.
Well, Coach, congratulations again on the sweep this past weekend. Best of luck against the Spartans. Saturday night's game here at home.
Thank you, Rob.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.